Hello, Pamela Slim here with a Power Boost marketing tip. This one comes from David Billings, who some of you might know as Sparky Fire Pants. I call him Mr. Pants. And we were lucky enough to have David at a liftoff retreat. And he was at a point in his business where he really wanted to make a shift away from doing just the straight graphic design and illustration that he had done so well for independent business owners. And he wanted to move into art licensing, which is a new area where he could create a certain line of art and then art licensors could buy it and then use that for a number of products, and then he could get a royalty from that. So it really is the next stage of evolution in business, and it's quite a different business model from that which he had done before, just working with independent people. So he knew that he needed some help, and he enlisted the support of somebody who was an expert in art licensing, which was his first good move. The thing I want to talk about today is how he prepared for a live event. There was a large art licensing conference that he prepared for, and he knew that there were a number of people there that were coming, that were buyers that would be really interested in his type of art. He also knew that he had never done it before, and so people didn't necessarily know who he was. So what he did is he got access, which was available at the conference, to who were the people who were coming as buyers. He researched them, he looked at what they had bought before, the kinds of things they were interested in, and then he created a list of people who were his ideal target audience, his ideal clients. And he prepared a special mailing for them where he introduced himself in a very fun, whimsical, Sparky Fire Pants kind of way, so they got to see the nature of his art. He told them that he would be at the event. He gave them the information about where his booth was. And so that was the first plan of preparation, just to introduce himself so that people could look him up before they even came to the event. He also went and looked up information about them on their social profiles so that he could connect with them and chat and send some individual emails to people in advance of the event. And so when it came to the day when he was there at the trade show, he had people, he said, who were like coming all the way across the convention center just excited to meet him because they had gotten this great preparation. And these were people who had never met him before, but because he did it in such a way that was fun and engaging and got them compelled to come over and meet him in person, it was a totally different experience than for some of his peers who just had their work there, who were basically sitting there like a wallflower in a dance, waiting for somebody to come up to them. And so it made the experience so much more positive for him. And when you think about it from a general networking perspective, imagine how efficient your networking would be if you go to a conference, for example, and you really research and find out who would be there and just choose a handful of people that you really, really want to get to know. Take the time to introduce yourself beforehand, find out where it is that they may be, where they're speaking, where they're hanging out, and make that connection. That is such a smart use of resources. And then finally, like David did, have a great plan of action for follow-up. Knowing sometimes that the first time you meet somebody at a live networking event, you're not going to want to push your services on or try to close business right there. Sometimes it happens, but very often it's just setting the tone for a really wonderful interaction, which then you can follow up with communication and information down the road. The thing that I think David demonstrated so well was first how effective planning and preparation is at really maximizing your investment of time and energy at a live event, because it is expensive by the time you add up travel and things like that. The other thing is, don't you think that people who would be interested in doing work with David would already be impressed by the quality of interaction, by his degree of preparedness? I'm sure that if I were an art buyer, I would imagine that he would be very great at preparing and delivering the art on time, in an organized way, because he really was living the spirit of his brand, which said, you can trust me, I'm open, I'm prepared, I know exactly what I'm looking for, and I'm clear on my goals. And I just think that is an amazing, amazing thing to demonstrate. So David, I am really in admiration for what you did. I thank you for letting me share this personal story. And I think all of us can really learn about that as a tip for when you're getting ready for a live event. You don't necessarily have to send a postcard out to everybody, but boy, if you were to get clear as to who were a handful of people who you wanted to get to know and introduce yourself beforehand, I guarantee it would feel a lot more successful. Thanks so much.